Well, this is the second community working session. Last week we had the first session, which was mainly an introduction to the initiative, and we had some valuable feedback regarding what happened in the token generation event. Um, these type of working sessions are an effort on our end to understand what the community needs from Metera moving forward, and also an initiative to try to create a more close community within Metera. It's really important looking in retrospect at what happened with the token generation event for us to understand what our holders and ISPO participants are expecting out of Metera. Last week, we discussed general feelings and feedback on what can be improved. It was a general session. We spoke about a lot of different areas within the project. And now, moving forward, we want to have more specific working sessions about a specific topic of those that we identified as potential issues. Today's session is focused around marketing. Um, Last week we created and shared a forms with community members to understand things like, in their own words, what's the value proposition of Metera, what Metera is all about, to understand if they are ISPO, ISPO participants, NFT holders, or both. And also, we had a section where we asked what they think is what can be improved within Metera. And an overwhelming amount of the participants marked marketing as one of the main issues. Um, so that's why we decided to have the second working session be surrounded and to be tailored towards marketing. We have here Carlitos, which is our COO and also co-founder of Metera. He will be speaking about some plans that we have moving forward with our marketing strategies. We also have Dawson here, which is serving as our CMO currently, and he will be speaking about the work that we have been doing as of the past few months when it comes to marketing. And we also have Lawal, which is our project and product manager, which is here to provide any feedback that is needed on the product side and as community member. Um, so with that being said, I think this is the agenda. We will discuss what are we trying to communicate, what is our main talking points and communication pillars, uh, what tools are we using to communicate those same things, what has been our marketing strategy for the past couple of months, and what's our current marketing strategy proposal moving forward. In between slides, we will ask for some feedback if anyone is willing to share some feedback with us. And yeah, I think we can get it started. So, Dawson, if you want to take this slide, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for that introduction. And just to preface, we mentioned in our last call that essentially we're wanting to be more community oriented to help us be making these decisions of, how do we want to, see Metera enter the Cardano ecosystem with these indexes and these other financial tools that are really important. And so I'll be asking your guys' feedback after I show what the marketing strategy had been in the past. And then maybe hearing a couple responses from some of you guys of what your guys' perspective on how our marketing was. So I guess just starting off, our main focus has been growing our followers on X has been an important part. We've been wanting to, put out educational content surrounding what indexes are, how the Metera protocol system will work, as well as the um, incentive for people to learn about Matera and to learn about indexes as well, being the current biggest traditional finance tool out there. Our other main focus has been to increase and strengthen partnerships with our close partners, and to expand our partners to more great projects building in the ecosystem, and making sure that we are having successful launch events, such as mainnet launch, TGE, testnet going out, testnet v2, all these bigger steps, is obviously the main focus to do that. So I guess just a couple of the action steps that we had been taking in the past, and we'll be sharing our updated strategy after hearing feedback and some ideas we've come up with. But the actions that we had been taking and that I had been taking was, coming together, discussing the content plans for the week. We were wanting to make sure that we're, studying some of the previous trends, what kind of content did well. So recognizing that, content with partners such as Zerberus, when we're mutually benefiting from each other, those would usually do the best. So that's what we focused on. Sending out daily posts. So that's an interesting point that I'm interested to hear your feedback on, with a lot of people saying it was a marketing problem. We still had almost daily posts for the past year to year and a half, at least. So maybe it's more so something that we just the posts weren't good enough, or somehow it just wasn't reaching the attention of the broader audience. So anyways, thinking about that, we have always, something I'd say we've done good, and we will continue to implement, is engaging with our community members in Discord and other methods, just to make sure that when people have questions, we're there. That's one of the most important things that we have tried to do. And then the other one is tried our best to be active within the community and make our presence known, which we've done good in some areas, but not so good in others. Maybe, being more active with Twitter Spaces, and things along those lines. So yeah, Daniel, I think we can go to kind of the feedback time, because I want to hear maybe a few responses from some of you guys, just to hear, like, from a community perspective, what were you guys seeing? How would you guys say that you have seen the Matera marketing and content on Twitter and things like that, for the past little bit? Daniel, you think we should just open it up?
Yeah, so basically we are trying to understand. So it was very common that people said that we were lacking marketing, or our marketing strategies weren't being as successful. I think internally, like you said, we were doing daily posts. Like, we have met, we meet 2 or 3 times a week, besides all the time that we spend talking, like, async. And we have put a lot of effort in our marketing. We are aware that we haven't reached or grown as much as we want. But right now, it's really important for us to open it up for anyone that wants to share with us, because us being so close to the project and being so immersed in Metera, I think it's very difficult for us to see the outside perspective of what we are lacking. So, over the past couple of weeks, we have been thinking about a new marketing strategy, what we think we could improve or do better. But I'm not sure that's the right path without us actually knowing what people think about our current marketing strategies from an outside perspective. So that's why we come up with these questions. Also, feel free to say anything else that we haven't included in the questions. We're interested to see if you guys are seeing the content in X and what you think about the content in X if you're seeing it. Also, we want to learn about other projects that we definitely can see are better at marketing or have better results at marketing. So that's why we're asking what's your favorite type of content for projects, or which type of projects you really like their marketing, and how do you usually engage with projects, right? Should we be focusing in Discord? Should we be focusing on Twitter? We don't have a Telegram. Should we open that, etc., etc.? So if anyone wants to just open their mic and answer some of the questions, that would be nice. This is an open floor to discuss our previous marketing strategies.
Okay, guys. So if I understand, this is an open mic, right? So the idea is that everybody here can participate when they feel so, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Of course.
Awesome. So I'll say a bunch of stuff.
Easy.
And sorry for my French sometimes on some topics. But I'd love actually creating the engagement with everyone here, right? Because again, I'm not marketing guru. I have some experience from my previous works, right? That I can try to share here. But the big disclaimer is I'm not a marketing guy or marketing guru, right? And I do believe marketing is not something for just for people who work in marketing. I think we all have ideas and feedback to give here. This is why, again, I'd love you guys to interrupt me on some stuff. If you agree with me on certain things, that's great. If you feel like maybe I'm missing some key elements that you guys have been seeing or witnessing, please feel free to stop, and we can then build the conversation over that, right? I hope I'm clear here. Okay, so I've been hearing a few stuff here, right? And for me, it feels like it is an overlap. Again, I don't have all the information that your marketing team has, right? But when I start hearing people talking about should we communicate on this or on that, on Discord or on Twitter, and how do we do in Twitter and Discord, I kind of feel we're missing the mark here, because what you're basically focusing your attention on are communication channels, right? But I think the opportunity that we have today here to learn from the previous experience to build towards something better is maybe to start from the basics. So let's start first with the messaging itself, and then we can move forward progressively and maybe speak about those communication channels that you guys are targeted, your communication effort, how much you communicate, what are the topics that you're pushing forward there, and so on. But I think we need to start from the messaging first, right? So that we make sure that everybody is aligned with the message, because that's the only way we can convey the value proposition of Metera in the outside world. Do I make some sense here, or you guys have some different perspective on this?
No,
Of course.
I agree. We
Okay.
have been struggling on communicating our value proposition, like in a simplified way. So I think this is the right path for us to discuss.
Yeah. So let's start doing something together, okay? We will start with people who are not from the marketing team first. So, and directly from the Metera team, okay? Who can, and really take your time. Again, the idea is to build from something, and nobody is perfect, and we won't have necessarily the right words or the right ideas right away. These things need time, right? So I want anybody who is not from the Metera team to try to do their best with the information that they have and their abilities to explain shortly, what do you think in your perspective, what is Metera trying to do? And again, take your time and don't be shy, please. Come on, guys.
We have
We need your
Steve,
help
which
here.
I think is working right now, so he can only send messages in the chat. on the
Okay, I see some people are using their phones too, right? Not everybody is on a computer. Is that true?
Yes, probably.
Probably.
Also, we have Ada
Okay.
Boy, which I'm happy to see here. I would really like to know your feedback on this. So if you feel comfortable, please share with us. But and I think Beach is not able to speak a lot, which is unfortunate. But perhaps you can start, Stinger, to get the ball rolling.
Okay, awesome. So let's jump, since we don't have somebody who's outside the team who can explain that. So let's take somebody from the team, and not you necessary, Danielle. I'd love to hear from somebody else as well, who feels comfortable to explain very shortly, for somebody who doesn't know Metera at all, like maybe in few sentences, what Metera is about in your opinion, right? It's not a test. It's not a trick or whatever. The idea is to start building somewhere and to put everybody in the shoes of someone who comes from the first time and needs to understand what's the value proposition of Metera here, right? So what it's all about. What is this thing?
Okay, so I can go ahead and start with that question. So thank you,
Awesome.
Stinger, for asking that. Yeah, well, this is something that like we notice and we are going to present it in the next slides, because like we have like two value propositions, but we were only pushing one. So the two value propositions that we have is, the first one, we have like the technology. Like we have a protocol that has the technology to create tokenized strategies, right? So like that's the main thing that we were focusing on, and that's the main thing that we are pushing, that we have like smart contracts that can create like MTKs or tokenized strategies that is represented as a single token, blah blah blah, that is audited, whatever you want, and that's what that our main push is, right? But we also have like another side that is like the Metera DAO and the Metera like community, right? That we want to this like be like a community driven or DAO driven like protocol. So I guess that the first thing is like the technology of the protocol, and the second one is like the DAO driven, that can actually like monetize the strategies. So we have like a couple of ideas, like with what just happened with the TGE, so that we can make like what utility we can give to the Metera token, right? Some of the things that we were thinking, and I am jumping like a little bit like ahead. This is something that we want to discuss in the next community meeting. But maybe like we are going to have like a DAO treasury, and we want to create like a strategy for that DAO treasury, right? We want to invest some money into, I don't know, like Cerberus nodes, and all of the income that we have of that investment, we can divide them into the Metera holders, for example. So yeah, but yeah, just to answer like the specific question that you did, we have like two value propositions. The first one is like the cutting edge technology that we have to create like the token strategies, and the second one is that we have like a DAO that can be like a cooperative, that can vote to accept, to bet, to approve, like, and to monitor like the MTKs that are being submitting throughout the Metera protocol technology.
Yeah, sorry for the lag there. Thank you very much, really, for this. And I think this is a great thing, because from what you're explaining to me, I'm learning two things, right? The first thing that I'm learning is that you guys are so good in what you're doing, is that you're focusing your attention on that, and you're thinking that everybody in front of you will necessarily understand what you guys are trying to pitch right there. Okay, it's not a bad thing. Okay, you need to accept that it's not a bad thing. But I think this is where we need to leverage now the knowledge that you have, and to be able now to transmit that to people who are not necessarily familiar with what you're trying to achieve. Okay. And I have a follow-up question for the different points that you have mentioned here, right? And I know that in your answer, you already talked about how you think it is interesting to incentivize people. But let me repeat this question because I think it will do more good than anything else here, okay? So you're talking about the two value proposition here. The first value proposition, which is your tokenized strategies, right? How the technology that allows actually to do tokenized strategies. The second value proposition that you see in your eyes is the creation of a DAO that allow the community basically to drive to drive, if I can say, the project, right? And for me, and I do understand that. I mean, it is a form of incentivizing people, right? But maybe you have some more ideas that I'm not aware of. So this is where it starts to be interesting. For the common guy, right? The guy who have no idea about what is a DAO, why governance should matter, why I should care about this project, what are the incentives that Metera brings to me, or what are the opportunities that Metera brings, so that I can start listening to what you guys have to propose or have to pitch. And let me know if my question is not clear.
Totally clear. So, yeah, well, that's a really nice, cool question. And for example, like we were also like struggling with that because I think that we were like focusing only in the retail part, right? So we were just focusing on the single investor that just want to invest in indexes, or that wants to get like exposure to an ecosystem. But also, like, we find like there is like a super value proposition and something that we have not like go into deep, that is like the institutional investor. So I think that our protocol and our project like really is like institutional focus, you know, like institutions can, like inside or outside like institution and institutional money can use our products like to get like you know, exposure to the ecosystem, right? So I guess that, like, answering your questions about the DAO, I think that it's just a matter that make people like part of something big, you know, like to empower them to have like insights, because their vote, you know, it's going to make like a difference. They would of course, like they will have an input if a portfolio manager strategy for creating like an MTK can be approved, or if they want to push like, I don't know, like some improvements on the protocol that they see, or for example, if they think that the fees that the protocol is charging are way too high, and for us to stay like competitive, we can make it like, you know, like lower, so that more people like feel attracted to use like our product. You know, and also and again, I think that I am jumping a little ahead of the utility token, but if we can make like, if we can create like a cooperative or like a DAO, you know, like a community-driven protocol that we can like add value, because we have like different backgrounds, you know, and if we can connect all together and we can make community-driven decisions, we can, for example, create like a nice DAO strategy that can actually like monetize, you know, because I don't know, and this is based on what we are seeing like on the activity of the chain, if like just from protocol fees or from batching fees, we can actually get revenue soon. So I think that for us to give like a sense of community and to like attract people to be part of the DAO, we can like get together with all of our experiences of different backgrounds, create like a DAO strategy, and start like investing the DAO money into different parts and into different projects just to get like revenue. And that revenue that we are getting, then we can divide it into the different holders so that we can create value for their work, that they can feel that they are like, that they are doing like the difference, that they are like, like putting like effort into something that is like looking into tangible, that it's like actually like making money, that we are like shaping the future of the protocol like all together.
Yeah.
I think that's one part and the main part.
Yes, and it's an elaborate strategy. And again, the answer you gave me for me is a strategy, right? And I like these ideas because again, these are the core elements of your value proposition and how you want to appeal actually to people, right? But the question that I asked, I had one important reason why I asked this question, and that reason was that there is a difference between thinking about your strategy to be able to generate growth or maybe attract more users or develop the project or do also retention, right? Keep people actually interested into Metera. And there is a difference with how you communicate that, right?
Of course.
And again, you guys, you speak to me, but you speak to me as the professionals that you are, right?
Mhm.
But at any point in your answers, I'm feeling really engaged actually with what you want to do. Not because Metera or your ideas is not great. No, they're great. But I have to be someone who's familiar with these things. For example, you've been mentioning talking about institutions, right? And how you think that the interaction with institutions is interesting, and that you guys have been focusing a little bit too much on retail. These are ideas, right? And they can be good or they can be bad, but they need to be tested, and that's good. But again, for me, this is a strategy, right? The real question here is, even if I was an institution, okay, I'm the guy coming from a company. And I don't know, maybe I want to do some interesting partnership because somebody told me, hey, there is this thing about index funds, right? And in Cardano, well, there is this team, they call themselves Metera, and they're trying to do that in Cardano, right? I'm not going to wait to get that clear information about what are the incentives, what is Metera about from that person. I'd like it to have from you guys, from your communication, from your website, from your articles, from what you post on X. Sometimes when you guys have conversation with people, I don't know, on YouTube or whatever, or wherever, sorry, it needs at some point to be simple, appealing, and direct, which means that you need to distinguish, okay, so who am I targeting? If it's retail, then you have a version for the retail people, because they don't know the power of all these financial instruments that you guys are trying to implement and develop on Cardano. And this is huge.
Of course.
As professionals, you guys understand what you're doing. You understand the power that Metera brings.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, and yeah, you are right. Like one of the things that we have been brainstorming in the past weeks is that maybe we are focusing like too much like inside the Cardano ecosystem, and inside like the crypto and the Cardano like enthusiasts, and like if we want like to achieve like the maximal potential that we want for our protocol, we need to like attract people from the outside, right? Because we know that crypto is complex, but
Yes.
we want to make it like simple Like we want just to like the people to go into our platform. I have no idea about crypto, but I want to get like exposure to crypto. I like, and this is something that the ETFs in the traditional world helps, right? Because if I want to
Exactly.
invest in the 500 like most prestigious like companies, I don't go and buy like 500 shares of each one of the companies. I go and buy like the S&P 500, and I get exposure to all of that. So yeah, I think that our narrative needs to change, like not to focus just on the crypto and the Cardano enthusiasts, that although we think that we can improve like our job into like communicating like why is importance like Metera protocol to the ecosystem, and how can we add value to the people that are inside crypto and inside Cardano, but we also have like a job that is like attract like outside people that don't know about crypto, don't know about Cardano, to use our products. Like let's make like crypto useful, and we need to, I think, like to shift like the way we are communicating and not just focusing in the people that already know about crypto.
You're right. You're right on a lot of the points you're mentioning here, and this is very interesting because you're starting to go where I'm trying to lead you, right? And I have some useful feedback also in writing that I will be able to share with you guys. But don't forget that in the Cardano ecosystem itself, I am a Cardano enthusiast, right? I don't have necessarily the experience that a lot of the folks have. I think I discovered Cardano, it was 2021, something like that, right? And I'm still learning a lot of things. So yes, I am very interested into Cardano. Obviously, I do a lot of research about Cardano. But do I really understand the impact that you guys are trying to create? Not necessary. It's not because somebody is enthusiast of Cardano or have spent some time in Cardano that they necessarily understand the benefit of actually of what you're trying to achieve here. And this is where you need, like you said, I think you're right about that. You need to adapt. I think you guys are familiar in marketing about what we call A/B split testing.
Yes, of course.
Okay, awesome. So, because in marketing, we don't have a crystal ball, right? So usually decisions, they're data driven, but there is a trick. The trick is that because you're so good at what you do, then you stay focused on what you know to do, right? You don't necessarily ask the questions that you need to ask. Not because you're not good. Again, it's just because you're so focused. Actually, your vision is so narrow because you try to target something. You want your protocol to succeed, and you want to create the engagement that it deserves. So that's a good thing. But this is where you need to stay open-minded, and it's not because you targeted maybe a specific part of the Cardano audience, whether they are I don't know, institutions or just retail or enthusiasts in Cardano or people from outside Cardano. The idea, if you want, I think what you need to do at some point is to be able to touch to all these things, okay?
Yep.
But the principal question you need to ask first before starting even this endeavor, right, is where do you think, and don't be afraid to say also what do you feel, because it is important, okay? Where do you think your growth is? Do you think your growth lies with the institutions, the retail people, enthusiast Cardano people who know everything about Cardano, or people who discover crypto for the first time? You have 4 points here.
Can I add something to that, like an answer?
Sure, go ahead. That's the idea.
I think our success lies on all of those together, right? As we can see, and this is something that we've struggled internally, like Metera conceptually is hard to explain. We've struggled explaining the broad idea of what we're trying to do, and that's why I changed the slides just to see the communication pillars that we defined as a team. Um, it's a hard idea to explain. We've seen it in the last couple of minutes, just going back and forth with value proposition, what we want to do, our strategies, and we need to simplify that. If we're able to simplify it into a simple speech that everyone can understand, I think institutional and retail will both come, right? If we're able to convey our message to retail, most definitely institutional money would listen to it and understand the value proposition, right? So at the end of the day, me personally, what I think of Metera is that we need to focus on a couple of indexes, at least initially, that can become blue chips or benchmarks for the Cardano ecosystem, right? Someone that is a veteran in the Cardano ecosystem is looking at one of our indexes in order to understand if their investments, if he's doing the right investments or not, where he should be invested. If someone is just learning about Cardano and wants to get exposure, they have a benchmark index where they can invest and get a broad exposure to the ecosystem. An institutional money that is already willing to dip their toes into crypto. If they look at Cardano, they have an instrument that they can diversify into. So I think a combination of all of those is what will make us successful in the long
Exactly.
run. And that's why it's important, and that's why we added this slide of what we are trying to communicate, right?
Yeah.
Within the team, we have a lot of different backgrounds, we have a lot of different ideas and conflicting ideas, but this is something that we all understand, that our pillars are diversification, right? And when we speak about diversification, we also speak about risk management. I just want to highlight right here. I don't know if you guys were able to see, but I'll put it here. So Steve added, in layman's terms, to make it easy to invest in a basket of tokens, which could be picked by yourself or more
Nice.
expert opinion, and hedging risk of backing the wrong token. So I think that's spot on what we're trying to do with diversification, right? You don't know
Exactly.
where to get started with Cardano. Here's a basket to get diversified. We understand crypto is complex, and we understand that investing in crypto or maintaining a portfolio is not simple at all. So invest in our index. On the
Exactly.
other side, liquidity, right? The next pillar. There's a lack of liquidity in the ecosystem. We know this definitely from what happened in the TGE. We've seen this with Dex Hunter publicly stating that they are not profitable because of the lack of volume and liquidity, although they process most of the transactions and swaps on chain. So hopefully we need to communicate to a broader audience that we are here to help bring liquidity. If we're able to accommodate our instruments on a retail and institutional level, then money will flow, and it doesn't flow directly to Metera, right? We only earn via protocol fees as NEDX in the ecosystem, but we are directly bringing liquidity to those projects, increasing TVL, increasing market caps, increasing diluted valuations, etc. The next communication pillar, and feel free to stop me whenever you want, is the importance of weighted index in a DeFi ecosystem. And now that I look at that, I think it's the importance of weighted indexes or tokenized index overall, not just in a DeFi ecosystem. This is especially true for crypto because at most of the time, crypto investments feel like the Wild West, like a lot of degen stuff happening, just everyone trying to pump stuff just to have other people be exit liquidity of their positions. But diversification and liquidity are the main tools of traditional finances and investments, right? So if we can find a way to craft indexes that mitigate the risk of you backing the wrong token, as Steve correctly pointed out, I think people will start understanding our value proposition.
Yes.
The next,
And may I interrupt you
yes.
very quickly here, because this is where I had some feedback, and I know you guys will move forward with the other pillars. But again, if I have to be sincere and share with you just the feedback I have here, depending, because if you notice, I'm more talking about the form, right, of the communication, and why that is matter. I think you mentioned it here, Danielle, is that you need to be able to touch your avatars. If you have guys defined your different avatars, right, and I think you're right, you need to touch a little bit of everyone. But the way to reach that goal is to be able to simplify your communication, but in the same time, make sure that you are targeting actually your avatar correctly. And this is where I do agree with what you said, and I think that's genius. And if I have like some concrete, like clear example to show you, okay, these are not perfect examples, but they will at least enable you internally to be able to pay attention to these details, because these are the form of communication, how you reach to your audience, how you target them, you speak to them. Like if I have to speak in layman terms here, how do you speak to the people, right? You make that person I don't know, change their habit or change what they're doing so that they can open their ears and listen to you, right? Let me know, Danielle, if I can pursue this very quickly and share with you like few of the examples here before we move forward with the other points.
Yes, please do. Just keep in mind that I want to be wary of people's time. We can stay
Oh, sure.
afterwards if we have more time. But we have 12 minutes, and I still want us to go through our current marketing strategy.
Oh
So
yeah,
if,
sure. I think that's important, of course. So I'll be very quick on this one, okay? And I'll just give you a few examples. So
please
I
go ahead.
noticed, for example, that you guys have been started doing your communication about the pin index, right? And I understand the value proposition. This is huge, right? But you may, I don't know, what is the engagement? I don't have your numbers, guys, but I think this is something you will be able to follow and see how people actually interact and what's the traction of these posts, right? But here is what I see, right? Like in the message, here is like few feedbacks I want you guys to take note of, okay? So suggested, like, as I wrote these notes just before our call. Okay, here we go. So simplify and define terms. Many readers may not know what the pin is. A brief explanation of or a benefit statement can make this more accessible. That's important because for me, it's not the first time that I'm stumbling on these things since the start, right? And at some point, I was saying to myself, "Oh, maybe in the community, everybody is aware of, right? What are these things? What Metera is trying to offer? What is an index fund, and so on." And even Danielle, when sometimes you explain some of the mechanisms, I'm really interested. I'm really interested, but I don't see that in the communication that you guys share. And I do feel like this is a thing that you guys are missing. You need to speak about these things, right? And you need to simplify the terms because sometimes we don't understand things. For example, point 2 on my feedback: highlight benefits and simplicity. Frame the index as a hassle-free way to diversify and participate in promising sectors. 3, engage emotionally. Use a conventional tone to spark curiosity and excitement. Like if I see the post that you guys have shared, I read both the indices by Zeberis. No, sorry. This is my mistake. DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, is a new way to build and share physical networks where people, not companies, own and run infrastructure through blockchain rewards, right? This is your post. And then you have the screenshot of the PIN MTK fact sheet, okay? So if I am somebody who works in the marketing, my focus would be that people actually click on that thing and understand right away what it means, right? This is how you start creating engagement with people. So, but when I read it, yeah.
Let me add something right there, because on the
Sure.
screen you guys can see both of our posts for Deepin,
Yes.
right? And this is part
Yes.
of our new marketing strategy. Like, perhaps you can touch on this briefly in
Yes.
a couple of seconds. But on the
Sure.
left side, if you see, we spent like an hour thinking about this tweet. At some point, we thought that we were overthinking, right? So on the
Yeah.
left side, what you can see is the new part of our strategy, which is make things simple and make things look shiny, right? So we introduced with a video the Deepin index. We tagged each one of the underlying assets, and we add a small description underneath that says gain exposure to Deepin in one single token, right?
Okay.
Initially
Yes.
on this tweet, we had a part of this, if I'm correct, a part of this explanation of what Deepin was right here. Perhaps
Yes.
it was that. So people that didn't necessarily know Deepin could also have information on the tweet of what Deepin was. We decided to divide the tweet into parts, and this was launched today.
Nice.
The right side,
Nice.
left side,
So that,
shiny thing.
yeah.
Right side, more in depth.
Yes, but yeah, I do understand, and I think where I want to come from, what I want to say with my feedback, rejoins actually what you tried, guys, to do. Explain what is the pin. People need to understand what is the pin. So we don't care about the shiny thing, right? And I love how you guys are doing these tests. And I think you will be able, if you guys are able to get some data about how the first post did it do well, what are the numbers, right? And the second post, okay, did it do well, what are the numbers? You can gauge also people attention, right? But what fails to be seen on the second post, on the first post is very simple, maybe right to the point, I don't know, but at least it's very direct. And you guys have mentioned some of the projects, right? So people that are aware and see these names in the ecosystem, they'll maybe interact more because of this, right? On the right side, you did a great job to try to explain things. And this is what we want, because again, the idea is not just to make sure a lot of people clicks on these things. No. The idea is that you leverage that type of engagement so that the day when you want to do something important, then people come. Because there is no point of everybody getting excited now, right, on small things, but the day you need to do something important like last time, then nobody shows up. And it starts with education, right? And this is why I do love what you did on the right. Why? Because at least you guys took the time to try to educate the community. But that's the goal, right? This is what you guys were targeting. But does it do it well? That's the question that you guys have to ask. This is why I'm giving this feedback. Even if you tried your best actually to explain what the pin is, but my feedback, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'd love people actually to react to this, because at least it will help me understand also, okay, so who understands, who doesn't understand? Is it just me, or everybody thinks the same, right? Because on the right, I still don't understand really what is the pin and what you guys, what is the link with your MTKs and why it's so important, right? And again, I'm doing that a little bit on purpose, but I promise to you, I show your second tweet to my wife, who knows nothing about Cardano but understands what is an index fund. She'll not necessarily pick it up. She'll not necessarily understand it. And this is where what we want to do, we want to educate people about things so that they understand, again, why, what they win with that. I will send you the feedback in writing so that I don't take a lot of your time, guys, and you'll be able actually to maybe more understand what I'm trying to convey here. But I think this is where you guys need at some point to ask the right questions and say, okay, now that we made so much effort into the communication, and this is, for example, a a tweet, right? That's great. That's perfect. But okay, so is the message easy to understand, easy to catch? For example, we want to explain what is dipping. Did we do a good job at explaining what is dipping? Like somebody who sees this, will they understand what it is, and so on, right? And again, these are examples. This can be extrapolated to other things that are more important. I don't know. But this is where I'd like to see the communication evolving, right? Is making sure we target our avatar correctly. We speak to the people we want to speak. It's not just about the shiny thing, the very simple things, and the thing that has more information. No. Because you may notice that the shiny things has more success, like in terms of engagement. If I'm not trying to do my best to push a project, I'm just like a marketing agency and I care about numbers because I'm paid to make those numbers, right? Well, the first article may seem to be the best, and if you see the data, you'll see a lot of people have more engagement with it, for example. But maybe you're missing the point. Maybe the point is that you need to do this campaign to create traction. So educate, engage, retain, so that when comes the day you guys want to do something amazing, I don't know, launch the token, launch the platform, you need people to vote on your DAO, for example, I don't know, then people shows up because these are your real followers. These are not people who come and go and people who click on a thing. Some of them, most of the time, don't understand what they're seeing there. Maybe they don't understand the message, but they have seen the name of a cool token. Then yes, they click because they want to see what's the link. But are these people going to come again? We don't know. And this is where you need to make sure in your communication that you reach these 3 points. Again, educate, engage, retain. That's the idea. And I will send you in writing some feedback in just for the form of the communication so that you guys can see what I mean here.
I agree.
Thank you.
I would love to keep talking about this more in depth, but let's try to move forward with the presentation. I don't know, Carlos, if you are back in the meeting again, but perhaps you can briefly explain our marketing strategy.
Of course. So, well, first of all, Stinger, thank you for the great insight. I think that it has a lot of value of what you are saying, and definitely some key points that we are going to take into account. But yeah, so let's jump with this proposal. So this is just a proposal on how we can move forward and what we think like it's necessary for us, like for in this like part of the revamping like of marketing. So please feel free, of course, to provide like any insights, if you have like any questions or suggestions, please just jump and comment. So the first thing is, and this is like related of what we have been talking about in the last hour, is basically like simplifying our communication. So we need to create like a new narrative. So we used to have like long thread tweets, you know, like trying to explain like what Meta is about and why is like liquidity helpful. But even though those were like great tweets, like from the content side, they were not having that much engagement because people want like what is fast to read, you know. There are like some people that, yes, they like take the time to read like a 9 long thread on X, but most of them like do not. So we need to make like more tweets, like just quick and simple like tweets, and also like our communication, you know, because as we were saying, like we have two different like things, but we like mix them up and we are like not clear enough on what we are trying to communicate. So in order for us to achieve like this simplified communication, as I mentioned to you before, like we have two main divisions, right? The tokenized strategies division, which is basically the Metera protocol, in which like investors and which portfolio managers can come and they can create or invest like in tokenized strategies, right? That's what our DApp is for. That's why like we created like smart contracts. That's why like we got audited by Sunday Labs just to make like the technology, right? To create like this type of instruments. And the other part is what we were also discussing, that is like the DAO division, right? So we think that by unifying like those two value propositions, but also like separate them, is going to make us like have a more clear like focus and more clear communication of what Metera protocol is about. So let me explain like a little bit of these two options. So the first one is the Metera tokenized strategy division, which is like more focused on the technical infrastructure, like allowing users and portfolio managers to create and interact with the MTKs. And the second one is the Metera DAO division, that is like the responsible for the governance, like including debating, approving, and monitoring the MTKs, and to ensure the quality and alignment with Metera goals, right? Also, like maximizing the Metera utility. That this is something that we can talk about in the next session. We have like a couple of ideas, like I mentioned. I think that if we can like create like a nice DAO strategy and invest into the different sections and have like the income of that strategy, like reparted into the Metera holders, I think that is going to also help with the utility. So yeah, so just to not get like into that path, so we need to unify the structure, like what the Metera protocol is, but divide it into two. Okay, so how like, and then we need to market Metera as a tech and a DAO platform based on what I have like previously said of separating the divisions, right? So we find like a dual value proposition in here. So the first one is like highlight Metera as a cutting edge platform for tokenized strategy creation. And the second one is the community driven approval and governance that can actually monetize the strategies, right? So I think that I can, I can explain like a little bit like more these things, but yeah, I think that we have like the message. The first one is like to showcase like it's easy to use, the customization, the alignment with Cardano, the appealing to investors like that are looking for innovative tools. And the second one is that like position the DAO as a quality assurance and governance body that ensures only that the most viable and community voted MTKs will go live, right? So by this we can create like credibility, trust, appealing to users that want to invest like in community approved portfolios or strategies. And yeah, and like based on the dual value proposition, we can do like like we can like share like we can talk about like the actual like technology that the Metera protocol itself, like how it helps like the ecosystem to diversify, to bring like liquidity, like what's the technology behind that, and the other stuff, it's like the DAO, right? So we can either like push sometimes one and sometimes the other one, and sometimes we can push it like together. So for example, we can we can present like Metera protocol as a protocol that blends like the technology and the DAO benefits under one narrative, so yeah, so and then of course we want to focus like on achieving a wider audience, and this is what we were talking about, focusing on making Metera a tool for the Cardano ecosystem and a getaway for broader community adoption through transparent, community-driven investment products. So basically, we want to tackle like two audiences, right? The first one is the crypto and the Cardano enthusiasts, which are like most of our base. You know, like all of the followers and the people that support us, like are people that know about crypto and are people that know about the Cardano. And we need to keep like attracting more people about this because there are like a bunch of crypto and Cardano like enthusiasts, but we can make like more efforts to attract them all into Metera and to, you know, like, yeah, to be part of the Metera protocol, to know about Metera, to know like what's the value proposition about Metera, how we are going to help them, you know, like to make money or whatever they like, there's their interest, you know. But how can we attract like those kind of people? And also we want to focus like on general investors, you know, not necessarily crypto or Cardano like enthusiasts or people that know about crypto or Cardano, but people we onboard in an easy way. Because we all know that if we say, once you place the name crypto into something, people get scared. So I guess that if we shift the communication a little bit more simpler, we can onboard people, you know. We can say that we are like a like ETF protocol, and people like know what ETFs are. So I guess that if we can like simplify our communication and also like expand ourselves like beyond the Cardano and the crypto ecosystem, we can help attract like more liquidity and more participation inside our protocol. And well, the next one. And well, the next one is that we also want to keep pushing the video. So as you guys see, like we created like a video for the DePIN index. So that's like kind of videos that we want to keep pushing. Also, you know, to educate the ecosystem. You know, like we can create like this, you know, indexes examples, you know, or we can also like create like what's the utility of the Metera token, how can you like, let's navigate inside our D app, like a general video about what Metera is doing, like those kind of things, like, you know, easygoing things that like we consume like a lot of videos, you know, it exists like TikTok,
Carlos,
Reels.
Do you think it could be good, sorry to interrupt you, to show like an example of what we're thinking? I think this encapsulates our simpler way of communicating with one of the videos we're working on. That's okay to share?
Yeah,
To see
of
what
course.
people think. Not sure if you guys can listen to the music, but this is one of the videos about explaining Metera that we intend to push out in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
So
like that kind of videos.
So the idea behind that video is just to show, like graphically show that you can basket a lot of assets in the Cardano ecosystem and explain that with Metera you can invest in them simply, in a simple manner. So please go ahead. Just wanted to show that before we finish.
Yeah. So well, those kind of videos and of course like the partnership side, I think that well, we think that it is like super important for us to keep like building partnerships inside the Cardano ecosystem with native projects. We have like really nice partnerships out there, no, and but we want to keep like see like how can we like partner with those native projects just to bring like more value to the Metera ecosystem, right? And also this is like a main focus that we want to focus in the institutional Cardano, for example, Emurgo, CF, like the big institutions on Cardano, also like hedge funds like Waffle Capital, and there might be like more, because like they can benefit from the Metera ecosystem. And for example, if I don't know if you remember that Charles, like a couple of months back, like he talked about the like indexes and how they can help us like to attract like more liquidity and more visibility to the Cardano ecosystem. I think that we can really like make an approach in the institutional partnership so that we can leverage their influence, to attract like more liquidity and like to help like investors like from outside the Cardano to know about Cardano. Like for example, now that we are talking about like these bridges about on Bitcoin and Cardano. For example, if a person that is like a Bitcoin maxi, but okay, that person wants to know about more about Cardano, like they will need to like research like each one of the projects, like understand the projects, and it's going to it's going to be like a hard job, and they will need to make like a lot of research that of course like we actually like like encourage people to make like their own research, right? But if there's a person that, okay, I just want to get like exposure to the top 10 market cap on Cardano, then I will go and buy like one single token, and that will give me like exposure to the whole Cardano ecosystem, and that's it. I will forget about that investment, and once in a while I will look the performance and I will see like how's that going. So we think that by approaching like the institutional like companies in Cardano, we can get like more exposure out there, and that they can really like leverage our technology to bring like more attention to the Cardano ecosystem. So
Thanks,
yeah, that's
Carlos.
basically like the general proposal that we had.
Thanks, Carlos. I'm sorry to cut you short, but we are 13 minutes past the allocated time, so just want to be wary about people's time also. I just finishing this. We were supposed to show some comparisons. I don't know if we are still okay on time, or we should be like if we can stay. If not, if anyone has to leave, please feel free to do so. Like I said, it will be recorded and shared in our YouTube channel. um I think overall our marketing strategy right now is to simplify, to yes, educate, which is an important part, but do it in a simple way that follows all of the different points that you mentioned, Stinger, which is retention of people, education, and growth. I believe was the or engagement was the third point. So I just wanted to show. I guess we already did it with the Deepin index, which is the next comparison right here. But we have every Monday we do ROI updates on our indexes to show the potential of a benchmark in the ecosystem. On the left side, we have something with a lot more context and a lot more text. And on the right side, we were following the strategy of making it much simpler and shiny, right? So I guess in terms of number, both perform about the same. So no real difference. Something that we're looking at, and we'll keep testing with different ways of communicating the same thing moving forward, so we can gather analytics and gather feedback. Um, but as at the end of this call, what I wanted to do is just recap everything and have an open mic and just talk about the marketing plan that we are proposing, that Carlos went in depth in, and just hear about what you guys think, if this is the right approach, if there are some things that we should be changing or shifting. But I think that's how we can end the call today. The general feedback and understanding if the marketing strategy seems to be. So if anyone wants to drop their insights either on the chat or open mic, that could be awesome. Also, anyone from the team that hasn't spoken or wants to add anything, this is the time to. Yes, I think an hour and 16 is not super engaging. Go ahead, Lawal. I see you unmuted yourself.
Well, you can go if you're ready.
I just want to commend everyone, especially Stinger. I've been listening closely. I mean, man, you are loaded. And I really appreciate your inputs for the meeting today. Today I happen to be just on the listening side, trying to put a lot of the feedbacks, yeah, excited for the feedbacks today. And thank you so much, man, for joining.
Yes, I just want to say thank you very much, guys, for for your feedback as well. And the idea is that really we try to move forward with these things. As for the marketing strategy or proposition that you guys are having, I don't have any positive or negative to say. I like the ideas, most of them. So I don't think there is something that shocked me or something. No. But this is, I do believe, this is a kind of thing where you have to test, you have to try it, and from there, I think maybe you'll get more feedback, and then you can adapt or maybe improve. But as it is, as explained, I think is great. I don't know if anybody else have some opinion about that.
On that sense, I also think it's great. But yeah, I think it's still something that it's trial and error, right? We're trying to figure out what things get the most engagement and also fulfill our purpose. And we'll keep pushing out different types of content, and we'll keep trying to analyze both sides and understand perhaps there's a middle ground that is the right path and the most correct path for us to follow. I was thinking, I'm not sure. Like, I hope as we go through with these working sessions that we grow in people. I've seen since the last meeting we've had a lot more interactions in the general Discord chat, and some good conversation has been sparking up. So I'll try with the guys from the team and our Discord mods to spark some conversation surrounding marketing. I'll also share the slides publicly so anyone can look at the slides if they want, and leave some comments and try to spark some conversation and healthy feedback on how our marketing should be moving forward. One thing that I just want to highlight is that we are also, like I mentioned initially, trying to build a stronger community, right? We realized through the first forum that a lot of people got to know Metera from a mouth to mouth basis. Like someone told them about Metera, some of their friends in the Cardano ecosystem. And we invite everyone, if you guys want to help us try to get the word out, to engage with our Twitter, to engage with our social media, and let us know if there are things that you would have done differently or you think we should be doing differently. Because I think us in the call right here could have a great impact in Metera's future. It's just a thing about us being committed to trying to help and trying to get the word out as much as we can. And I really appreciate everyone here for joining. If I don't know, Carlos, if you want to add some closing thoughts, or Dawson, or anyone.
Yeah, I can just share real quick. I think that there was a lot of discussion today, but I think that it's a really good first couple of steps to kind of just, getting better insight into, how can we really convey the value of, Matera protocol. You know, earlier on I was gonna say like my main the thing that I'm looking forward to seeing is, you know, as you know, this technology continues to grow and new people start coming into the space, especially the traditional finance people that are starting to kind of catch on to what crypto and what, you know, smart contract and blockchain technology, you know, is capable of. They will run into Matera protocol if we can position ourselves right, and they'll, you know, their mindset would be, oh, you know, these are just like the traditional tools that I use, but it gets me that broad exposure into the Cardano ecosystem, which has lots of builders, you know, and just things along those lines. So I think, yeah, I appreciate everyone that's, you know, shared their thoughts today. And I think that we still, you know, definitely are on a really, really solid path. And there's a lot of great things to come for Cardano and for Matera. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Dawson. Also, just to mention what we're doing next week. Next week, we'll be discussing token utility. This is something that I think it's really important, and we want as much feedback as we can. Thinking about simplifying our communications also includes token utility, because if we want a successful token sale, we need to make sure we're conveying the message the right way of what people can do with their Metera and why Metera will accrue value over time. So next week we will be speaking with that, and following with the next weeks we will we'll, we'll get more in depth into the product itself, how it works, how we can change stuff around for a future V2, or what we can do right now to align the product with our market fit. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really exciting, and I can't wait to listen to everyone's feedback next week if you can join. So if everyone's okay with it, I think we can call this meeting ended, and we'll share this in the YouTube channel, and I'll try to do a recap on the general chat. And thank you, Stinger, for all of the feedback. Appreciate it so much.
Sweet. Appreciate you guys.
It's a pleasure, guys. Yeah, very exciting.
Awesome, Stinger.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
time.
That's like, well, Steve and Beach. If you want to stay and we can speak about it in Spanish, I'll just close the meeting. I don't know if you have any comments you want to share in Spanish, but I'll stay here for the next couple of minutes. But thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great evening, and thank you for the time.
Likewise. I'll talk to you guys later and see you all around.
Yeah, have fun. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, guys.